Good morning from a very hot and sweaty headquarters. It's been a tough session this morning and I've just done one myself. So that's hence the towel and hence, just about to see the steam coming off my head. But I was having a discussion yesterday and I allowed it to strum in and I've come up with a really cool concept, I think. GCSEs, it's GCSE exam results day. If you're watching this back at a different time, it is GCSE exams result day today. And we're not going to take away from the light of that. So, if we saw weight loss as a GCSE, well, what do you do with the GCSE? You study for it for 2 years. Only the more I think about this, you don't just study for it for 2 years. You actually study for it from the first day of school. So you're studying for it for 12 years. You study for a GCSE from your first day of school when you're 4. You are learning to read, you're learning to write. You then reach high school and they prepare you more. You then reach 2 years before. I don't even know what year that is. Somebody shoot me a comment below and let me know what year you start GCSEs. I think it's year 10. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I did mine. Anyway, you then start in let's say year 10, and you start getting fully prepared. You start learning exactly what's going to be needed of you, what you're going to have to do in order to pass an exam that you're not going to take for 2 years' time. Now you're 2 years in. You're 12 years in. It takes a long time to build up to that moment. Right, but see, we accept that with kids, and we wouldn't at 4 years old or even at 14-year-olds, we wouldn't give them the GCSE exam paper and say sit it or fail. Yeah, that's exactly the same way that you're going about your weight loss. You try and start it all, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record because I say this all the time, but you try and start it all at once. You try and start it like you're sitting down on day 1 and saying, this is my exam. I've got to sit it right. I've got to train 5 times. I can't have Chinese. I can't have any wine. I can't have cake and chocolate and ice cream and crisps, and I'm going to have to walk all the time. I'm going to have to, wow, you're sitting your final paper on day 1. It's impossible. Now, what if you saw it like an exam, whereby what we do is we teach, and you'll ask any teacher this, they'll back it up for me. What they do is they teach you the first skill, the first important skill that's going to move you forward. And then once you've got that skill down, we'll move on to the next skill, because this first one's now a habit. You've got this is safe. You know, it might be doing 1,000 more steps a day. Let's crank you into that. We've got that habit, it's now safe. A couple of weeks in, okay, cool, you mastered that habit. Let's do a few more steps, and in fact, let's take a look at just one part of your diet. Just one part, nothing more. Okay, cool, now you've mastered that skill. Let's move on to the next skill. Let's do it one step at a time. Let's not look at it all in one go. Because let me tell you, if we start looking at it like that, instead of suddenly waking up, it being 2 years down the line from when you first started trying to lose weight and you've yo-yoed on and off ever since, and actually if you looked like you did 2 years ago, you'd be very, very happy because you've actually put on more weight since then. I don't say this to have a go at anyone. I say this because this is the same story that people tell me day in, day out. Okay? Instead of looking at it that way, what you did was you did a habit every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You started small. We did one thing at a time. We built up those habits in order to make them the stepping stones and the base of our corner pillars in order to make sure you can actually move forward. Now, what if you spent 2 years doing that? Well, now you're 2 years down the line, having learned skills, having learned habits, having changed lifestyle. Now you're waking up and you are lighter than you wanted to be 2 years ago. You're in a better state than you could have ever imagined you could have possibly gotten. And yet, you haven't had to starve yourself. You haven't had to train all the time. You're potentially now training 5 times because you've got the love of training, but you only started off training once. It's a real simple way of looking at it. So instead of doing it all, pick just one thing. Pick one thing, and when you become good at that, and it becomes consistent, and it's a habit, that's at the point when we pick one more thing. Keep it real simple. Show me some comments. Let me know what you think. Shoot me some likes. Let me know that this is resonating with you if you're still watching up until this point. And in other news, if you are receiving GCSE exam results today, all the very best of luck to you. I know it's a nervous time for you, but remember, no matter what happens now, it's done. So all you can do is choose to move forward from this moment, and we wish you the very best of luck with that. People, I'm going to go home. It's breakfast time. I'm going to have to go and wipe this sweat from my head as well because I'm a bit minging. Folks, thanks for watching. I shall see you Hanon.